What is Velodrome Finance and is it a good project? Now, Velodrome Finance is the sister project of Aerodrome, and as you guys know, I'm very bullish on Aerodrome, right? The #1 decentralized exchange on Base, an extremely bullish coin. Velodrome Finance is a DeFi project, of course, DeFi being one of the hottest narratives. Velodrome is the #1 decentralized exchange on Optimism. So Aerodrome is the #1 DEX on Base. Velodrome is the #1 DEX on Optimism. Let's take a look at DeFi Llama, right? These are the top DeFi projects on Optimism. Optimism as a chain right now, it is sitting at number 12. So it's the number 12 biggest chain based on total value locked. And you can see the total value locked is at 800 million. Of course, Base as an ecosystem is a much more bullish chain in my opinion. Base is sitting at 1.5 billion. You know, past month Base has absolutely skyrocketed. Optimism has actually dropped a bit. So in terms of bullishness, right, the Optimism chain is good, but I wouldn't say it's the most bullish chain out there. Velodrome operates solely on Optimism, and you can see it has a TVL of 153 million. You can see in terms of TVL, it's definitely going up. The past month, it's gone up 18% in total value locked, which means that it is becoming more bullish. I would say this is definitely one of the more bullish DeFi projects on Optimism, this and Extra Finance. So in terms of Optimism itself, right, Velodrome is definitely one of the top projects being built on Optimism. Now looking at more of the tokenomics and also just what Velodrome is as a project, right? It was launched during the bear market in the summer of 2022. That's very good because this is going to be its first crypto cycle. Usually with altcoins, the first cycle has the biggest gains for a lot of these altcoins, so that's really good to see. And it has a market cap of 111 million. If you compare that to Aerodrome, Aerodrome has a market cap of I think around like 500 million. I need to double check that number just to make sure. But if you look at TradingView, you can see Velodrome market cap of 100 million. If you look at Aerodrome, right, you can see that Aerodrome has a market cap of 264 million. I don't know if this number is actually correct. It might not be updated, but I think it's around that 200 to 500 million dollar market cap mark. But either way, Velodrome is definitely a smaller project than Aerodrome, of course. And you can also see the circulating supply of Velodrome is sitting at 600 million, which is not bad because its max supply is 1.6 billion. So it's around, I'd say 40% circulating supply. Not bad at all. And a lot of its tokens are going to be locked for the near future. So you're not going to experience very large dumps just yet. Taking a look at the chart of Velodrome, you can see it's had a similar run up to Aerodrome. I think both of these projects ran up around the same time, but Aerodrome obviously being the more bullish project, it was actually able to carry Velodrome, its sister project, along with it. So a lot of this price action you see was actually due to Aerodrome just being one of the most bullish decentralized exchanges out there, and them having a very similar name, both of these projects basically being sister projects. Aerodrome was able to basically carry Velodrome on its back and skyrocket the price of Velodrome. It topped off around this 40-cent mark, and now it's retraced all the way back to 17 cents. So it's dropped basically like 50%. I would say right now, if you don't have any Velodrome, it could be a good opportunity to pick some up. Let me just do some quick technical analysis. Let me just freestyle this. So let's get a box to see where areas of support are. You can see right here, we definitely have a good area of support that's been extended for multiple months now. And you can see, right? You can see right now we are definitely consolidating at this point, at this area of support. So I think right now could be a good time to get in if you haven't gotten in already. I would say as a project as a whole, right, comparing Velodrome to Aerodrome, both of these products are good because they're both DEXs. They're both the #1 DEX on their respective chains, right? Velodrome is the #1 DEX on Optimism, and Aerodrome is the #1 DEX on Base. But because the Base chain, I think, is much more bullish than Optimism, if you had to pick one coin out of Velodrome and Aerodrome, I would definitely still stick with Aerodrome. Now this is if you don't have any of these coins, right? If you didn't have Velodrome, if you didn't have Aerodrome, and you wanted to get into a top DEX on a chain, Aerodrome is 100%, right? 100% the way to go, because Base is such a bullish chain, a much more bullish chain than Optimism. But I'm not saying Velodrome is a bad project by any means. I still think Velodrome is a great project. It will still bring many multiples in the bull run, but Aerodrome is a safer project. I think it's a more bullish project, and I think it can actually bring greater returns because of the hype that it's going to generate in the bull run, because of the hype of Base. I currently hold only Aerodrome. I don't hold any Velodrome yet. If we do get more of a dip on Velodrome, so just going back to the chart of Velodrome, if we do get more of a dip, so let's say we actually break this consolidation zone and we actually go lower, and we go into kind of this zone, right? Let me just draw another triangle, or sorry, another rectangle. If we actually go down into this zone, then I will 100% be picking up Velodrome, because that is a extremely good price, back to 9 cents, sign me up. But right now I'm not in a hurry to pick up Velodrome. I mean, of course it's going to do multiples. I think it can easily go back to 38 cents, 40 cents in the coming weeks and months pretty easily. It's a pretty safe area to pick up Velodrome, in my opinion, just based on technical analysis. But in my opinion, Aerodrome is still a much greater project. I have much more Aerodrome. I don't hold any Velodrome at all. I only hold Aerodrome because I'm so bullish on Base. I want as much Base exposure as I can. Optimism is a good chain, but just looking at these numbers, right? If you were to just compare Optimism to Base, because that's basically what we're doing right now. We're basically hedging our bets on Base versus Optimism, right? If you're more bullish on Base, you should buy Aerodrome. If you're more bullish on Optimism, you should buy Velodrome. Looking at these monthly numbers, right? 1 month minus 4%, 7 days minus 15%, and looking at Base, right? 1 month plus 121%, 1 month or 7 days minus 1%, right? That kind of just takes the cake for me. Base is going to do so much better, in my opinion. Of course, if you are more bullish on Optimism, then by all means, Velodrome is going to be the better project for you. But it all depends on what you are bullish on. It depends on what chain you think is going to do better, because both of these projects are very similar, right? The only difference is that they're built on competing chains. And Base is just going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger, in my opinion. So not to say that Optimism isn't going to get bigger as well. I believe Optimism can easily be a top 10 chain this cycle, but Base is just where I'm hedging my bets personally. So going into short-term price predictions for Velodrome, we need to first look at Bitcoin, right? So short-term and long-term price predictions. Bitcoin right now is currently still, pretty volatile. I would expect another drop personally. I wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin touches these 60K ranges once again. And if that's the case, then Velodrome in the short term is going to drop more, like I said, potentially into this consolidation zone as well, into that 10 to 9 cent range. If it does drop there, then I will definitely be picking it up. But like I said, I'm not in a complete rush right now because I have a lot of Aerodrome. But going in the long term, right, I easily see Velodrome doing like a 5 to 10x pretty easily, in my opinion. From these levels at 18 cents, even going back to its previous all-time high of around 40 cents, that would be like a 2x. So 2x here, and then another 2x, that's already a 4x. I think that's pretty much guaranteed. 4x is pretty much guaranteed. I would say upwards to like 10x. The only reason I don't say any more than that is because I just don't see Optimism as one of the premier top chains. I mean, of course, Velodrome is the #1 decentralized exchange, basically #1 DeFi project on Optimism. I'm still just not totally convinced on it. Of course, I could always do more research into this chain, but personally, I'm just much more bullish on Base as a whole, which is why I think Aerodrome is the way to go. That's going to be it for the video, guys. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe. I know a lot of you wanted to see an update on Aerodrome and also a new video on Velodrome, so I've made it for you guys today. So please leave a like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys in the next one.